the approach. In short, we will see these approaches. I have changed the slide. When there is top-down approach, it is called deductive, because you go on deducting, and then you get the decision, findings, conclusion. Inductive means you observe, you decide the pattern, and you come up with the result. In both the cases, result is must, but the result is theory. And I have given the example of Maslow's theory. This is called as Maslow's theory. So he developed this theory. Which kind of approach it was? He went from observation above. So it was inductive approach. In our project or in our working life, generally we do not do inductive research because we are not doing any foundational research, conceptual research, where new concepts we are to find. We are to check whether the concepts or whether the theories, to what extent they are applicable. And therefore, we do the left wala, the top-down research, generally deductive. When you do combination of both, it is called as abductive. So this was done last time. We are doing the revision of the first session. Okay. Causal research. In any kind of research, cause and effect relationship is established. Or rather, I have asked one question last time. Any problem is a cause or effect? Dayakumar and Naren, you may answer. Any problem is a cause or effect?
Yes,
It's
ma'am,
a
definitely.
cause.
Pardon?
Any problem, first we have to identify the root cause
Yeah,
analysis.
that is true. My simple question. Any problem under the sun is a cause or effect?
It's a cause.
Ma'am,
Cause.
it can be a cause also and effect also. Effect of something.
Is the effect, madam.
Right. It's an effect. Because of number of causes, effect has come. Sandeep last time has given example that
I
suppose
was late. I was late.
late to the company. Being late is an effect. Behind that, there are n number of causes. Now, when you go, as you said, Dayakumar, you go to the root and root causes you identify. Some causes out of that are effects, but those are sub-effects. Behind those sub-effects, again, we are to identify the cause. So researchers' ability is checked in many ways. And one of the ways is finding out the causes behind the problem. Because you start your research because there is a problem. So problem is the problem statement or your title of the research. And you are to identify a number of causes behind that. For that, you need to read, talk and talk. What I mean by this is the coverage of our next session at 12. In that, we will see what we need to talk to and what we need to read about. This is for identifying the causes. These causes are called as variables. Effect is also called as variable. You can see two underlined words in blue. Cause and effect. This effect is called as variable. Causes are also called as variables. Variables means that varies, changes. So when you talk about stress, study of the factors causing stress, or impact of so and so training on the management of stress. This management of stress is effect. and it is called as DV, that is dependent variable. The point, the problem, the effect that you are going to study. Impact of online training on the learning of employees. I repeat, I'm going to ask you a question. Impact of online training on the learning of employees. Now, my question is, learning of employees is effect or cause?
It is the effect, madam.
Yes, it is effect. You are going to study that effect. This effect, that is learning of trainees, is called as DV, dependent variable. And last time I had told you, DV is always 1 or 2.
Independent variable.
Yeah, independent variable, we are coming to that. We are studying the impact of online training on learning. Okay. Now you are studying learning. So behind learning, what are the causes? So all these causes will be IVs. Now, how will you identify all these causes? Google will help you, books will help you. Okay? And talking to the experts will help you. So you will list down
English
the
Sharbat.
number of causes.
Can
Okay?
you please mute, please? Somebody's speaking them
Sandeep
behind.
has muted. Yes. So we are going to check the variable concept consistently. But remember here, unless and until your brain has the ability to identify variables, you can't do good research. And for identifying variables, the material which is on Google, the research papers, articles, books, all are there, or your previous reports and the experts. With the help of that, you can easily identify the variables. We are doing the revision and therefore we are going fast. Cross-sectional research, whenever you select a particular group or subgroup, it is cross-sectional. So for this, checking the impact of online training on the learning of employees, if you select a particular batch, that is cross-sectional. If you select a particular cadre, that is also cross-sectional. Any age group, cross-sectional. Male or female or mixed, cross-sectional. Okay. Time series. When in different time frames, consistently research is done, it is time series research. So every month, every quarter, every year, with the same variables, same IVs and DVs, it is time series research. Generally, it is done in marketing, finance, economics, etc. So that they can understand the trends and the factors that affect that trends. Explore, when you go into deep and deep, it is called as exploratory research. Major research of your even internship project may be exploratory. When time comes, we will see that. Suppose we will take the example right now only. This latest example, training manager wants to check the training effectiveness. For this, if he selects survey also, interviews also, and survey, in that he explores or he lists down very good variables, a number of variables, and goes deep into the effect or impact, then it is called as exploratory research. So in-depth is exploratory. Primary research is the research based on primary data. Before recording started, we have taken the revision of primary data collection methods. 3 methods I told. Who can tell me? 3 methods of collecting primary data. Yes, Dayakar.
Yeah, one is survey, Second
good.
one is interview, and
Right.
third one is observation.
Very good. And questionnaire is the instrument for survey. It is not an independent method. So the research which is done based on the primary data collection methods, and as I have told in the word, there are only three: survey, observation, interview. Secondary research is the research which is not based on primary data, which is based on secondary data. So maybe journal, articles, research papers, databases, websites, reports, and whatnot. Some e-libraries, some audios, some videos. That is called as secondary research. Big research generally that government does, which is maybe completely statistical research, which is called as descriptive research. It is secondary research. Qualitative we have seen, where interview and observation methods are used, where sample, that is number, is very less. It is qualitative research. Whenever any research that is done based on the secondary data, that is reports, articles, and all that, that is also called as qualitative research. Qualitative research doesn't talk of number. It is generally in words, and words. Quantitative is one which is survey based. Correct? So you must have gathered that all these types of research are not standing on their own. That means any kind of research can be a combination of a number of them. That means a particular research may be primary research, maybe at the same time qualitative research because it is based on interviews. At the same time, it can be exploratory because it has gone into deep. So simultaneously, research can be of 4, 5, 6 types also. So this was our revision of the first session. Now let us go to today's content. If you have any doubt, do ask.
Madam, want to ask about that Pareto's principle. Just one more time revision of that,
Pareto's principle.
which
Okay.
we have used somewhere. Example of that.
Yeah, I will just on the is the PPT on? I suppose not.
It was not on the PPT, ma'am. We have taken one
Yeah,
example of
yeah.
it.
One minute. I will put the PPT and then I will answer your question. Anyone who can answer his question? Anyone knows about Pareto principle? Okay. Pareto was an Italian scientist or Italian researcher. His work mainly is in economics. So this Pareto, with the help of the data based on economics, he concluded based on his principle is called as 80-20 principle. Okay. He concluded that 20% of wealth of Italy is in the hands of 80% people. And 80% wealth of Italy is in the hands of 20% people. You will say the same thing regarding our country also. Do you agree to this? 20% of wealth is in the hands of 80% of people, and 80% of wealth is in the hands of 20% of people. Clear up to now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, same principle, same 80-20 principle of Pareto to problem solving. When you identify problems, suppose you are to identify the problems of your problems relating to training. With the help of brainstorming, with the help of past data, you have made a list of 10 problems regarding non-effectiveness of training. Okay. Now, you are to solve these problems. The question is now, out of these 10 problems, which one to start with? If you apply your personal opinion, the selection of problem may go wrong. Generally, who are more talkative, who are more bossy in nature, they say that I know where is the problem. Let us start with problem number 4. Some say, or you leave it to the boss, and boss says, without any data application, says that start with problem number 1. Everyone, when they brainstorm, develop ownership towards the problem they have identified. So based on these emotions, if the problem is selected, after solution, after giving full your intelligence to that problem, the result may not be good. To avoid this, to these problems of suppose 10, you are to give rating based on priority. For this rating also, you need to decide some base. Sometimes time urgency is the base. Sometimes the cost is the base. Sometimes some budget is the base. Sometimes some other data or performance appraisal report is the base. So that particular base is taken and all the people do the rating. Based on the rating, if you develop a Pareto, you will come to that 20%, 80% problems are of 20% importance. Very trivial problems, faltu problem, useless problems. 80% of problems are of 20% importance, but 20% problems are of 80% importance. So out of 10 problems, those 2 are identified with the help of Pareto. For that, you need to do some statistical calculations, cumulative frequency, and percentage frequency. But my experience says that, because my major consultancy is in manufacturing, and I have done training to the workers up to managers on Pareto also. So I believe that even workers can do Pareto very well. So with the help of Pareto, you can identify 20% important problems. And when you solve those 2 problems out of 10, your major work is done 80%. How? Because some of the remaining problems are hidden in these main important 2 problems. So on this background, Sandeep, you need to read more. You will get more information on this.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Fine, thank you. So this is today's content. Okay. So main content of today, this session is scientific method in research, in which 8 steps are there. I will have to clarify one thing. These 8 steps are for our clarity. Different books will give different steps. Nothing wrong in that. For the logical sequence and for clarity in understanding, we have these 8 steps. So right side 8 steps is today's first session portion up to 11:30. But for this purpose, you will need to know some research terminologies. From last session, I have told there are the words in research. This is the global language of research. So we can't escape that language. We need to understand and use the same words in research so that everyone in the world understands a particular thing. When you say problem statement, everyone knows what is problem statement. Variable, there are no different words. So it is our responsibility to understand that. Okay, just give me a second. I will close the windows. It is heavily raining here. Give a second. Yes. So let us start with problem statement. See, there are not problems. There is a problem on which you do research. Okay. There can be many research questions. We will see that. It is not in the portion, but in your project, you need to list down research questions. So questions is plural. They are many. Problem is one only, which you are to solve through your research. And for that, there is a problem statement. Problem statement is not a single sentence. It is generally in 2 paragraphs. And I recommend, just a few minutes back, I told it is better you take down the notes while listening so that your understanding will increase. So, problem is an expression, clear expression about what you want to solve. When do you solve anything? When there is a problem, you solve. So remember, there is no research if there aren't 3 categories. First category, definitely for sure, is there is a problem. There is a problem, there is a question, there is a concern, there is a challenge, there is a difficulty. This is section 1. Why we do research. When there is a problem, there is concern, there is question, there is a difficulty, there is a roadblock, we do research. Second, when do we do research? When we have curiosity. Why this is happening? For example, we academicians, I'm from academics also, retired, and I've done 3 decades of training and consultancy also in the industry. In academics, when they do research, generally it is based on the second category, that is curiosity. Why this may be happening? How this may be giving results? For example, one of the students who did PhD under me, he was from health department. He is from health department, an officer. There was a government scheme that was being applied, that was being implemented. And he saw that there are some roadblocks, there are some difficulties, there are some issues. I have used another word. There are some issues relating to the implementation of the project. The project is being implemented, but there can be more effectiveness. So his problem came from first category. He first-hand experienced that there are gaps, there are concerns, there are difficulties, there are challenges. Now, when I did my PhD, I was curious about to what extent empowerment initiatives take place in the banks. My major work on my concept of quality circles, quality initiatives is in manufacturing, but my PhD is for that bank was the sample. That time RBI has given the declaration or made it compulsory that every branch must start that quality circles as the empowerment initiative. So I was curious to what extent it is being implied, whether it is the lip sympathy, whether it is just the tick mark on the paper, or really it is being implemented sincerely, what impact it is making, how beneficial it is. So it came from the second category, curiosity. And the third is, there is no curiosity, there is no problem, but still research can be done. What can it be in the third category? You want to do the development. Everything is going on well, but having no problem is not a sign of development. So you need to understand what else can be done, how we can go ahead, what opportunities are there. So third category is opportunities. So Your problem statement should show something out of these three. Okay. How will you identify? Now, this is, I don't know to what extent you have started your internship project. How will you get to know the problem? On the slide, there are 5 ways. Interviews. Talk to your manager. Or if you are a manager, you must also be having the data. But talk to the seniors, talk to the juniors, talk to your colleagues. That these days, what are the issues that we are facing? What may be the major issues? Second is your personal experience. Third is interdisciplinary perspective. Management, you are studying training and development, it comes under management. And management is interdisciplinary. You need to understand psychology because it is the people and their minds, why people behave, why people respond at different conditions, different people. So psychology is there, sociology. When a person is single, he behaves or she behaves in a particular manner, but when they are in the group, they behave differently. When they are in teams, they will behave differently. So what are these team dynamics and all that? It comes under sociology. Why people do not follow values to large extent, or why do they follow? It comes philosophy. Then comes economics, because budgets and all that, it is business after all. So economics. Data comes in it is statistics. So it is interdisciplinary. Discipline, remember, means branch of knowledge. So all this information, deductions from theory, that is also to what extent this theory may be applicable these days. And obviously relevant literature study. Go to Google, type your area of interest and ask for the research papers on effectiveness of training, suppose. You will get good material. From all these sources or combination of these 5, 2, 3 or 1, you can identify the problem, right? Because you need to establish why you have selected this problem for your research. So rationale must be there. And sometimes rationale in the form of data is always good. Suppose in exit interviews, employees have commented on performance appraisal system of your company. So what they have said, you may take as base. Or the exit data, attrition data itself is the base. Correct? So there can be any number, or there is no response to so-and-so training programs. Some data is supposed there. So all this can be a secondary. Tell me, out of the 5 on the screen, which are secondary data type, which are primary data type? Primary means you have collected the data.
In
Secondary means,
interview
yes,
will be primary.
very good. And other 4 are secondary. Correct. So some slides would be for your writing. Last time also I have told, don't be under impression that each and every slide will be taught. Some slides are there for your, because these slides are generally shared with you. So it helps in your theory exams. Okay. What we have already discussed is on the slide. So how to identify the problem and the topic of research. So tell me, I have asked question, I don't know what is the status of your project. Have you started with internship project?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Okay,
No,
then
ma'am.
this subject will help you to do that. Okay, how to identify the topic. So brainstorm with your colleagues, brainstorm with your friends, any seniors and all that. Just as you chat, orally when you meet over the canteen or just in the departmental meetings. Just give an ear to the departmental meetings, what people are talking and all that, so that you can identify the topic. Second is gather background information. So review of literature. Our next session is on review of literature. Okay, and finding the research gap. So this is secondary data. So read, and identify what problems these days are there. And then you can check whether the same problems are in your company if you are going to take the sample of your company. Sample means जिनके ऊपर आप research करने वाले हो, on whom you are doing the research, from whom you are collecting the data is called as sample. So sample is your company and your employees. First of all, you are to read the secondary data, and then you are to check whether the same problem that you have identified is similar to that you are having at your company. If you are collecting the data from some other sources, making the Google form and giving to any managers in the country, then that is also okay. So conditions for the research problem, there must be an individual or a group or an organization that has some problem, challenge, difficulty, opportunity. कुछ तो होना चाहिए. There must be some issue that is felt by the people or the organization. Not just हवा में बातें करना. There must be some environment to which difficulty pertains. When any difficulty, any issue, any problem comes, it is because of a particular environment. Training environment. Can you tell me few variables about training environment? When I say training environment, what do I mean? You have to identify the variables. Tell me. Well, okay. Give answer in mind. How is the training environment in your organization? You may use any adjectives. Or you may choose the word good, better, best. Or you may give the rating 1 to 10. When you do that, this is based on your perception. Correct? And perception, on perception, no research can be concluded. It may start with perception. So when you are giving rating to the training environment in your company, some variables are in your mind. Can anyone tell me at least one variable?
Ma'am, classroom, online training and physical training. So currently we are on physical training mode and we are working on online model.
So mode of training is one variable.
Yes, ma'am.
Correct?
Yes, yes.
Under that, two variables, physical or virtual.
Virtual.
Anyone else? Trainer is one variable, quality of trainer. Under that, selection of trainer, age of trainer, style of trainer. Then training methodologies that are used. You have done cognitive and experiential methods. So n
Yes, ma'am.
number of things come and you give some label to the training environment in your, so there must be some environment about the difficulty. There must be some objective that needs to be attained. We are going to study objectives today. Last time we have seen objectives of research. Here, how to write the objectives for which research is done. Then there must be some alternative means, that means courses of action. When there is only one option as a solution, there is no research. Okay. There must be doubt in the minds of research as regards selection of alternatives. If there is no doubt, there is no research. Agree?
Yes,
If
ma'am.
you are sure as a training manager that this is the only solution, and when you are saying this without any research, you are Hitler. You are autocratic. You are autocratic leader. When you say that, I do not have any doubt this is the only solution, that means very autocratic leadership. And these days, autocratic leadership doesn't give any results. So what is the point? Last but third, there must be a number of third and fourth, last but third and fourth. There must be a number of alternatives. You should believe that there are a number of alternatives. Behind, regarding each alternative, you have doubt in mind to what extent it must be right or correct or applicable. And for that, you do the research. Okay. We are studying the terminologies of research for understanding research process. Second terminology is rationale for research. Few seconds back, I have told you are to justify why you are doing research on this particular topic. Two topics I am consistently referring to as example. I repeat now, and it is better while taking the notes. It is in front of you. Study of impact of online training on the learning of employees. Study of the impact of online training on the learning of employees. This was one title I have given. Second title that I have given as an example is study of effectiveness of training in so and so company. You can add a number of words. Study of impact of experiential methods of training over cognitive methods of training. I can give full stop after experiential methods. Study of impact of experiential methods on training. I can give full stop here in between. But if I want to compare, I may say study of impact of experiential methods of training over cognitive methods of training on the employees. So here you can do the both. So I given 2-3 titles. Why are you taking this topic? For that you are to give rationale. Major rationale is in the research problem statement that you make. Okay. So this is the reason why you are doing research. For this, you need to do literature study, that is secondary data reading. There you will find the rationale that this research on this topic is done, but this area is not explored. Therefore, you are doing research. Now, objectives. In the next session of today, which is at 12, or in the next session of next Sunday, you may show me, if you want, your drafting of objectives of your internship project, research, if you want to. But for this, your topic must be final, tentative topic. Now, objective writing is either too difficult or too simple. Let us make it simple. Your objectives must start with the word to, TO2. And there can be maximum 3 or 4 or 5 objectives, because each objective is to be fulfilled in the research, and with the help of data, you need to show that these objectives are fulfilled. So don't make a list of 10, 12 objectives. 2, 3 also enough. I have given in the second bullet. Lesser number of objectives, the better. And you are to use the same words from the title in the objectives. Objectives, if you are to write 3, it will start to study. To study the methods of training, cognitive and experiential. पहला objective हो गया. To study 2 categories of training methodologies cognitive and experiential. In different words, different framing, I have said the same thing. To study.
Ma'am, sorry to interrupt you. This is Gurvinder.
Yeah.
Ma'am, there's some issue with the Zoom, so I need to we need to end the session now and then start again at 12 o'clock.
12 o'clock.
Yes, ma'am, because there's some issue with the Zoom that it will end, not work further.
Okay, that session must be for
Yes,
90
ma'am.
seconds. It must be
Ye-
going. So, okay, it may be, there must be some load.
Yeah,
Right.
yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. So
So
we need
students, have
to,
you heard?
Yes,
Hello?
ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
So
yeah,
we will
sorry,
join at 12.
sorry for the inconvenience. We'll end the session now and
Yes.
then we'll join back at 12:05. I shared the different link on the group and to you, madam, for the Zoom link. So
Okay,
we'll
Fine.
okay, Govinda sir.
join at 12:05 and continue after that.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you
Sure,
all.
I'll do that. Thank you.
Thank you.
you.